Story 1. In my experience, the older you get, the less people care until finally nobody cares. If you don't put in the effort to reach out to people, nobody else will. Story 2. The good, you can eat as much ice cream as you want. The bad, you can eat as much ice cream as you want. No, seriously. You think that you get all the freedom in the world when you become an adult, but you are trading all your free time just for the means to survive. Story 3. Life is a one-player game. One life, no checkpoints. Your experience stays with you. Treat people well, and they will remember you. Treat people badly, and they will never aid you again. Story 4. You can do pretty much anything you want, which is great, but you have to deal with the consequences, which is not great. You can stay in bed all day and not work, but you will probably be broke. You can have a big party with your friends, but you have to pay for all the things and clean up afterward. Basically, you have huge possibilities and opportunities, but it is all down to you. Story 5. First, it goes by way faster than you think it will. Old age doesn't come on gradually. One day you'll just be like, dude, I'm old. How did that happen? Second, young people are awesome. Forget all the stereotypes about self-centered, heartless, entitled youth. Young people have an innate ability to say to themselves, well, that didn't work out. Oh well, let's do something else. For young people, making mistakes and trying something else, or doing something and realizing it isn't for them, is a part of being young. At some point, we lose that when we get older. Older people tend to dwell on their mistakes and feel like it's too late to change. They feel trapped in their decisions and obligations. Working with college students in my 50s, young people have taught me 3 very important lessons. 1. It's okay to need help. That's what friends do. My experience has been that young people can be the most loyal and true friends of all. Quit taking life so seriously. There's something funny about pretty much everything. So pull back, take a deep breath, and laugh. It's okay to change and do something else. You make a mistake? You're not dead. Do something else. So my advice to young people is, respect youth, learn from them, and they'll respect you back and teach you plenty. And never lose the qualities I named above. Story 6. People at work can be just as, if not more, childish than those at school. Some people just wait for the opportunity to stab you in the back or belittle you publicly. Story 7. Life is only better if you are proactive about it. 80% of the time, people who are happy or unhappy are that way because of the decisions they make. You are responsible for your own happiness, and that is a good thing. Parents are no longer signing you up for sports or taking you on vacations. You have to plan that yourself. But now you get to choose what you do and when. Also, it is your responsibility to enjoy your rest. It is all in the mindset. Story 8. 50 years I'm on this planet, and I'm sitting here pondering what I can tell you that is a sad reality of being an adult. Nothing really springs to mind other than the daily grind of going to work. Do well in school, and you can increase your prospects of having a job that you actually enjoy. Story 9. Life isn't fair. You can work harder, be better qualified, but still get passed over for promotion. You can be the perfect partner, but they can choose to drop you anytime. Story 10. Watching your parents, grandparents, and family become older and not being able to spend more time with them because you work, especially if you live abroad. Story 11. Many other adults, even those younger than you, will try to outdo you or make you feel inferior. Whether you have a career or a job, the number of years you work there usually dictates how your superiors will treat you, and that's if you are lucky. For example, if you work somewhere for 2 years, you might be treated like a 2-year-old. If you work somewhere for 30 years, you might be treated like a grown-up at a nursing home. Most adults will try to judge your character and value based on where you work, how much you work, or how much spending power you have. They will place a lot of emphasis on this. They will only care if you are a good person or not, and your inner beauty or lack thereof if they can use you and want to use you. Not only can you not do whatever you want, there are barriers like public sentiment, the law, the government, money, criminals, etc. But you are restricted in what you can do, and sometimes you can't even do what you need to do. On top of that, many burdens and responsibilities are suddenly placed on your shoulders. To your town or city, county, state, country, continent, and the world, you only matter as a number. You don't even make up a whole fraction of a percentage. On that scale, you might as well not even exist, and no, they don't care about you. They do, however, care about your money and how it's divided and allocated. So, outside of your small circle, the only thing about you that matters is how much money you are receiving, spending, being stolen, and being collected. Story 12. How lonely it feels. I am 20, so I am still in the transitioning period of becoming an adult, and sometimes it is so lonely because this is where everyone's life starts to go at different paces and in different directions. You start growing as a person, and sometimes that means growing apart from friends you thought you would be with forever. Story 13. Being an adult is basically being a kid who pretends to know what they are doing. You get used to doing things more often than not. It's not so much that you've gotten mature. You're just a kid with added workload, and you are judged on a different standard. Story 14. The stupid things you do to your body add up. Listening to headphones at maximum volume. Enjoy your tinnitus. Being silly and headbanging as hard as you can to Metallica in the 1990s. Wake up with neck pain. Showing off how much you can lift or carry and not lifting with your knees. Have fun with the back spasms after you move too quickly the wrong way. Take it easy on your body. Story 15. You are not guaranteed anything. Not love, not happiness. I think most people grow up taking for granted that these things will happen. Reality is a lot more complex. If you are lucky, what most of us do get looks something more like a comfortable compromise. And a lot of us end up going through life with less. Story 16. High school never ends. Even when you start working and expect everyone to behave like adults and work together. There will always be people who keep getting away with not pulling their weight. Some keep gossiping and spreading rumors, and there will be bullies all around. Also, people do not magically get their act together when they are adults. Story 17. Unlike many people, I feel that adulthood is awesome. I would highly recommend being a full member of society, even if it's tough sometimes. Being a kid is tough too. Many have forgotten. However, the bloom has gone off the rose a bit since the news has revealed an ugly truth to me about adulthood. I used to think that we aged out of having to deal with childhood's ills. You know the stuff I mean, lunch table schoolyard issues and worse. I used to think that adulthood meant being afforded dignity and left free to simply live. Sadly, apparently this isn't always true. Every day I look at the news feed and what do I see? Overgrown children, acting out their cruel behavior on the national and even international stage. Bullying, sucking up, showing off, whining, stealing, pulling the wings off bugs, running home and crying a pack of lies to parents. It seems that I was wrong. Many of us never do outgrow this. And the worst of it is those who don't somehow work themselves into positions of power. For all that, though, I'd still recommend adulthood. Just chronologically, it's inevitable. Story 18. The way the world should work and the way that it actually does are sometimes very different things. Do not confuse them. For me, this was especially true in the workplace. Being good at what you do and willing to work hard sometimes is not what matters. That said, people's skills can be learned and improved upon. Story 19. Life is more about how you react to things and less about what happens to you. Good and bad things will happen in life. What matters is how you react to it. Story 20. Anything that you have repressed or stuck on the back shelf of your mind to be ignored will break through those compartmentalization walls you built up like a frenzied Kool-Aid man at the most inopportune time at some point in your early 30s. So hold on to your seats. Story 21. That feeling about figuring out what you want to do with no responsibilities is the best time of your life. Take a risk. If you fail, learn from it. I was so scared of taking risks, and I really wish I would. Story 22. You are it. You're in charge of everything. If the car needs an oil change, that's on you to get it to the lube shop. You need to figure out all of your meals and clean up afterward. You are the conductor of your life, and you need to do it with a high passing grade. Story 23. You have all the freedom to stay up as late as you want and eat candy for dinner, but you'll feel horrible if you do. Also, dishes. So many dishes all the time. Story 24. Cherish your loved ones or the things you enjoy. A band, a pub, something. Cherish it all. For one day, not everything, but you shall experience loss. Story 25. The generation after you will get older, and one day you will realize you are no longer socially relevant. That day will happen much sooner than you think. Story 26. You can work super hard and build everything up, all for it to be ripped away, and it's completely out of your control. You have to plan for uncertainty. There will be a big problem coming. The only thing you can do is live in a way that makes uncertainty an inconvenience rather than a catastrophe. Story 27. The advice of follow your passion in careers only goes so far. If your passion happens to align with a lucrative career track, then you're golden. But if it requires a lot of work to get your passions to make money, then keep them as a hobby. Get a job that you can tolerate to pay the bills, and do what you love for free because you love doing it. I would not say that data entry is my passion, but it gives me plenty of free time to rescue animals, garden, and travel. Story 28. You have to pay your bills and taxes. And to do that, you exchange your time for money. If anything is left over, maybe you can buy things or experiences. Story 29. Stuff just doesn't happen unless you or someone else endeavors to make it happen. And I don't mean the big things, I mean the small things. Laundry just doesn't happen, you have to do the tedious task of starting it. Your things will be exactly how you left them, whether you like it or not. You either have to pay someone to fix things or spend the time fixing them yourself. Story 30. You have 3 aspects of reality that nobody gets to avoid: pain, uncertainty, and constant work. Those are things you are just going to have to live with no matter what. What will make you happy is the process. You have to learn how to love the process of dealing with those 3 things. Phil Stutz. Not really a sad reality, just reality. Story 31. Remember when you were a kid and summer loomed large on the horizon? It took a while to get there. But once you did, it was 3 months of glorious freedom, adventure, and comfortable boredom. When you're an adult, you don't get that anymore. You can look forward to your 1 or 2 5-day vacations a year, or even just a measly 3-day weekend, knowing that you're going to pay the price when you get back to your job and have to catch up on everything that you missed. It's an endless, plodding existence in cubicle land. But maybe your office will have a decent vending machine or something. Story 32. That once you live on your own, it costs money every second of your life. Even if you stay in and hide in your bed, the bills are rolling like the counter on a gas station pump. Story 33. When you're young, you identify as a person who hasn't figured out life yet. But one day you'll be a functioning mature adult who has everything together. That feeling never leaves you. You always feel confused in a big world. You still identify as a clueless young person, except your body isn't young anymore. It's old and failing. And you don't identify with these young people because they're strange. The young people you identify with don't exist anymore, which is lonely and isolating. The old people who had everything together when you were young also don't exist, which is also lonely and isolating. Time speeds up, and each year goes faster than the last. You're on a freight train accelerating towards a cliff at scary fast speeds, but you're still waiting for your life to begin, and you're starting to realize that you might have missed that chance a long time ago. Story 34. You are subject to growing old. You cannot escape the fact that you will grow old. You are subject to illness. You cannot escape illness. You are subject to death. You cannot escape death. You will grow different, separate from all that is dear and appealing to you. Those around you are also subject to aging, illness, and death. Those around you are subject to change. You are the owner of your actions, heir to your actions, born of your actions, related through your actions, and have your actions as your arbitrator. Story 35. It's not going to come to you. People who stumble into or have things handed to them, such as a house, a loving family, or a high-paying job, are not as common as most kids or young adults think. The grind is only just starting, and you will have to put forth some effort to achieve the lifestyle a lot of people want to live. It's not easy becoming successful without ambition. Story 36. Society kind of stops giving a shit about you. When you are young, they see you as a kid with potential, and most people will go out of their way to guide and encourage you. Then, at a certain age, it just stops. No one cares to know any more about your future goals or aspirations. Especially if you are a man and average to below average looking, you become kind of invisible. Story 37. I'm over 40 and still trying to teach myself to be okay with being miserable and bored. It's the key skill every person needs to learn if they want to get anything from life. Story 38. One of the depressing things about growing up that should be made known to youngsters is that life can get pretty stressful and full of responsibilities. There are financial burdens to attend to, professional expectations, and interactions with others that command one's constant attention, as opposed to when one is an infant, where things are mostly dictated to them. Also, many people find that chasing dreams and ideals is sometimes far from easy and can leave one disappointed or burned out. It's overwhelming to maintain a proper work-life balance and taking care of oneself. One should not hesitate when such pressures build up in life. Story 39. People will dislike you and sabotage you for reasons that have nothing to do with you. Oftentimes you have only three choices: tolerate it, leave, or go to war. Leaving is usually the best option.